Hi, everybody. I want to share my greatest lesson from 30 years of mastering my emotions. And that will continue to go on because no one ever comes complete with mastering. Mastering is something that happens forever. But I have been working on mastering my emotions, both from a spiritual point of view and the scientific or neuroscience point of view. Because when I was young, I really wanted to get out of the discomfort of depression, overwhelm, taking on other people's pain, suffering, pitying myself, comparing myself. I just wanted to be free of the mental jail that I had been in, and I struggled. I was looking for answers to help me unlock my pain. I was suffering inside. And I did, of course, want what everybody else wants, a great body and all the money and great relationships. But even more than that, I wanted to be free to enjoy being me, enjoying the thoughts that I was thinking and the feelings that I was feeling. Those are manifestations that I knew I had to work on because 15 years prior to actually begin this study, I was dieting. I was working out at the gym. I was trying to look the best I could. And I was having a hard time socially. Why? Because inside I was beating up on myself. I was telling myself I wasn't good enough, wasn't pretty enough, wasn't slim enough. I just never got off my back. And yes, that's the kind of thing I heard growing up within the family or in the neighborhood and at school. And as a child does, we just naturally internalize what's poured into us. And what was poured into me wasn't the most uplifting or encouraging language and feelings about me. And I had to figure out how to get this monkey off my back, how to get these ingrained thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, all of this negative programming off of me, out of me. Because when I look at my baby pictures, I was happy. I was such a wanted child by my mother. My father didn't feel ready to be a father, but my mother really wanted me. And when I look at those baby pictures, I see a child who was wanted and happy. And I say to myself, what happened? What happened to me? Years of pain and suffering. Years of pain and suffering. Being neglected, being asked too early to take on responsibilities that I shouldn't be taking on. Taking care of my brother, and I was only 18 months older than him. I was a good kid, so I just did whatever I was told. I did everything I was told to do. And I went to school, I went to college, I got my degrees, and I always loved helping people. And I realized I just was trying to figure out how to help myself. Maybe by helping them. By helping them, I was really figuring out how to help myself. And I did it through helping other people, always helping my mother, helping my brother. My dad died very early, so it was just the three of us. And it gave me great joy to help other people. Because in those times, I was at least in that moment, I didn't have to think about my own problems. And that felt good. It helped me to feel better than, my goodness, somebody else had it worse than me. And I'm not so bad off after all. So that's probably why I went into helping, into being a therapist and a healer. Because the people that came to me almost always had it worse than me. And they helped me to put things in perspective. And so I was helping them, but they were also greatly helping me. And it's been a wonderful ride, and I still do that to this day. But about 30 years ago, I stumbled upon something pretty phenomenal because I studied so many modalities like numerology and meditation and the bliss of aerobic exercise. I used to rollerblade up and down New York streets, blissed out with my music. I loved exercise so much. I used to teach it in my local community, not realizing the good feeling of hormones that were released by exercise that had created this kind of a healthy addiction in me because I wasn't used to feeling good for long periods at a time. Exercise had been a transcending experience for me. But I also always loved being in the water, being in the ocean, being in the pool. I'm a good swimmer, and I just love snorkeling. I even trained to be a scuba diver. I got my scuba diving certification on the island of Bonaire. But when I came upon energy healing, I felt immediate transformation. Was I able to keep it up on my own? No, but the energy healing helped me so much. I started to unlock thought blocks and programming that I just didn't know how to relieve myself of. It was just like this cloud that always followed me around, lifted, and I wasn't hearing those thoughts anymore. I had space to breathe. And those thoughts had been getting louder, and they were very uncomfortable. And now, as I got older, I realized I was also picking up other people's thoughts as well, if they were at the same frequency as mine. If you're having negative thoughts, you're going to have your thoughts merge with other like-minded thoughts. So it compounds the mental activity, the mental mind chatter. But when I found energy healing and I felt immediate results, the first types of classes I took were Access Energy for Transformation, now called Access Consciousness. I went back and just started to take classes without even thinking about it. And before I knew it, it was 6 years later, 6 years of classes that were just phenomenal. And I finally had a tool to help me, and it was very natural to want to help people even more. I'm actually being used as a tool to help the other person let go. Most people want to be free of what's sticking them, what's keeping them stuck. And I remember sharing it, this new tool, at this women's group, a women's empowerment group. And so I explained this during the women's group. And my palm chakra was spinning because that's what was happening. After a while of doing all this work, I was able to connect with myself as an energy being because I was able to feel energy. I was able to help energy move so people can cleanse themselves of old suppressive energy and programming. Energy means thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, programming that the person receiving the healing is co-signing to let go of. By me being clairsentient, meaning being able to feel energy, I began to be able to help people. And I mistakenly thought that everybody had good intentions. And I accepted anybody that wanted to work with me because I had been doing a lot of bartering with other people that I admired and who admired me. We would help each other to keep up our skills. So I bartered with massage therapists, other light workers, and other energy workers. And it was just fabulous. It was a fabulous time. And then I decided I would start to take paying clients. And these people said at this Women's Empowerment Center, I really like what you said during your share, that demonstration that you did. We'd like to learn from you. And they ended up not being good people. And I did not understand why they were being difficult during the session, meaning literally trying to scare me. One of them started to channel a dark spirit, and I was scared to death. She got up from the massage table and was making unrecognizable sounds. And so I called on my spiritual mentor that was working with me. At that time, I was working with a healing pastor at the Honolulu Church of Light called Kahu Fred. That was online. He channeled this wonderful angel by the name of Curiel. And I had taken some classes with Curiel, and they were phenomenal. They were wonderful classes. When people authentically channel and allow a pure, positive light being to speak through them, you can feel the difference. And this wonderful being, Curiel, told me because I was having some issues in my apartment because of somebody that was doing some weird stuff before I moved there, had some residual energy in the apartment. So I didn't find that out right away, but as I lived in the apartment, I was finding some weird things happening that didn't sit well with me. So I went to Curiel and I explained what was happening in my house, and he said, well, it's going to be over soon. Wait until you get 40. You'll step into your light more and they're not going to mess with you. And a year later, everything stopped. So anyway, this wonderful angel told me in the meantime to say his name 3 times anytime I needed help. And if he couldn't come, he would make sure an angel would come and help me. And so I'm standing there, scared to death, in my own home, working with these 2 new ladies from this women's empowerment group, because one of them got up from the massage table and started growling unintelligibly, and she scared me, and they were just eating it up and loving it. And I'm so glad I remembered to call this angel's name. Now, you might call Jesus, which is beautiful. You might call Allah, which is beautiful. You might call God Creator, which is beautiful. Whoever you call, you call. But this particular angel, Curiel, had been working specifically with me at that time, who said to call his name. So that's what was automatically in my mind and what automatically came out of my mouth. So I called his name, and whatever was in that lady got knocked out. And all of a sudden she said to me, how did you do that? And I said, what the flying flim-flam are you doing? What are you doing that? Why are you doing that at my house? So something told me to just ignore them, because there were 2 of them. And I really didn't want to work with both of them at the same time. Anyway, I was only used to working with a community of people with good intentions, with integrity, who could be trusted. And this was my first session with strangers that were out of integrity. And something just told me to ignore them, to just complete the session as I knew it. And I completed the session, didn't talk to them. They left the money, and I took it. And I said I would never work with them again, because they are not who they say they are. And they've already revealed what their intentions are. They want to F with my energy. They want to scare me. I didn't know people existed that are like that, and now I do. Okay, you got your scare, you got what you wanted, and they wanted to schedule another session. And I told them no, and I referred them to my teacher, and they did beg to have more sessions, and I said no. And then I remember working on my computer one day, and at that time there was something called instant messaging, and I got a message from one of them saying, oh, would you reconsider doing a session with us? And I kid you not, I guess my abilities were improving, because everybody, and this is with you too, who has a desire and practices a particular skill is going to improve whatever ability they have. And I could sense smoke coming from my computer. And her language was turning into smoke. And I said, ain't no way in the world. And I reminded them again that they could go have a session with my teacher, who was excellent. He was phenomenal. And I left it at that. And I was proud of myself. Not all money is good money. Discernment is what these 2 ladies taught me. So I do have to thank them for teaching me that. Not everybody has good intentions. Even though they're coming in from a good environment. I met them at a women's empowerment group. So for a long time, I didn't want to do this work because I got nervous. I wasn't trusting who's good, who's not so good, because these ladies seem like perfectly fine people. And so I have to thank them though for helping me bring my discernment to a new level. And I did step back from the work for a while. And then another one of my mentors said, you should start teaching this, because this is good stuff. I was having people come to my house from my other business, my speech therapy business, and they were coming to my house to do energy work. And I said, I think I better start doing this again because these people are appreciating. They're coming in with integrity. And there's nothing like feeling good on the inside because your outer world is only a representation of your inner world. And we can mask ourselves. There are people that are really good at masking the inner turmoil. But there's no better joy than genuinely feeling good on the inside of your own skin, feeling comfortable in your own skin. And there's nothing that you can't manifest once you have that as your foundation. And not only manifest it, but enjoy it and not keep searching for one more shiny object after another. So there's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Not all money is good money. And discernment, discernment, discernment. People can say things with their mouths and have completely different intentions behind their backs. So I thank these two ladies. Lesson learned. And this is what I want to share with you. Discernment, discernment, discernment. And not all money is good money. And there was another thing in there. The more you do something, the better you really do get. It's almost like compounding interest at a bank. You're going to surprise yourself if you stay tenacious and you don't stop and you just do a little bit every day. So thanks for listening. This is Carol at True Self Unmasked.